Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Ronald the Peculiar One. We're going to talk about, well, this. Trump administration looks at deep cuts to homeless housing programs. Alright, so they did an executive order where homelessness, that includes retired people in RVs, people on the side of the road, have tents, even in parks, well, is illegal. Now, let's look at this. This is my latest news, my latest serious talk. I do this every once in a while. Sometimes I'll do it a couple days in a row. Sometimes I'll do it once or twice a week. It just depends. I also do other things, not just this. This is my latest stuff because it's a serious thing. We're all one step from being homeless. Let's look at this. I'm going to read this for you. I'm going to do my best. Sometimes I have issues reading certain words, but we all do. It says a new policy change will significantly cut funding used to place people experiencing homelessness in permanent housing. So they're going to get rid of all the people that they just gave homes to so they can have a better life. Now they're going to take it away from them all. All right, let's continue. The change to HUD's policy is the latest example of how the Trump administration is placing new rules on government benefits. Remember that the government shut down? I think it's still shut down, isn't it? If it's still shut down, this is the kind of dirty stuff they're doing while it's shut down. And now this report by Catherine Hapgood, 9/29/2025. So this was about a month ago, but it's still valid. The Trump administration is expected to dramatically cut funding for a permanent housing program, a move that could potentially re-expose tens of thousands of people to homelessness. More than half of the 2026 funding, that's only a few months away, for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, which means Housing Urban Development. Okay, homelessness program designated for permanent housing projects will be cut and moved to transitional housing assistance with some work or service equipment, according to the three HUD employees and a person with inside knowledge of the continuum of care program, as well as internal HUD documents obtained by Politico, which is the site I'm on to read this paper, confirming the cuts. So this is legit. All the people were granted anonymity to discuss sensitive matters. There's a buyout there. The funding cuts could put more than 170,000 people at risk of experiencing homelessness, according to the internal documentation and the people. When the subsidy and the support that goes along with those subsidies is removed, it puts people at grave risk, said the person with inside knowledge of the COC program. And most of these folks without these supports will likely end up back in emergency shelters or back on our nation's streets. Remember, you can't be homeless. It's illegal to be poor, people. This country's basically for rich people now. So if you're not homeless, I'm sure you're feeling the effects, and you're about to be homeless. Because I know I'm about to be in the street. That's a fact. So that's why I'm doing all my YouTube stuff if I can, because I ain't gonna be able to do it anymore if I end up homeless, unless I use a cell phone. Which, if you watched my videos, you know how I feel about that. The program partners with communities to provide housing and services to sheltered and unsheltered people with the goal of moving them into permanent housing. It often benefits families with children and those who have experienced in homelessness in the past in combination with being chronically ill or having a disability. The cuts could have a greater impact on rural areas that have less access to city and state dollars to supplement federal funding, the people said. In other words, if you don't go with the President Trump's executive orders, you don't get funding. And if you go along with the funding, you have to arrest homeless people. I read the executive order for you on my channel. So HUD is no longer in the business of permanently funding homelessness, even though that's what it's for. Without measuring program success at promoting recovery and self-efficiency, there will be more news on this much-needed paradigm shift soon, said a HUD spokesperson. So people who work for this are warning everybody. The change to the policy is the latest example of how the Trump administration is placing new rules on government benefits, often requiring work or other requirements for people seeking to tap federal subsidies. But those close to the program say that the new policy could have severe repercussions, leaving those utilizing these services in a more dire situation if they have young children at home or are unable to work for a reason not recognized by the government as an exemption. Like for me, for instance, I have some injuries that developed in my early 20s, and I've been fighting it ever since. I have health issues because of it. I'm not on any assistance or anything, so if something happens in my situation, which it already has begun, I'm about to be homeless myself. And I'm kind of in the process of selling some of my stuff to get some money now before it's too late. So I'll be homeless soon. You might see me on the street, everybody. Who knows? It's coming for me. It's hard for me to say that, but that's the reality, people. It's the reality. So if you have a job, if you still have good health, stop complaining and be thankful. Thankful that you still have something. Because at some point, when you lose it, you're going to be just like everybody else that's homeless. And so don't judge people, okay? Don't judge people. Okay, currently 87% of all COC program funds ending in 2026. So that means end of next year. We're almost into 2026. So we're almost there. Are slated to support permanent housing in some capacity. Under the policy change, only 30% of the funds will be allowed to be used for that purpose. So 30% only going to be allowed. There we go. The available funding for permanent housing for calendar year 2026, that starts in a few months, is currently at $3.3 billion, but would be cut to less than half of that at around $1.1 billion once the policy change is implemented, according to the internal HUD data. Additionally, Donald Trump's budget for fiscal 2026 proposed cutting funding to the entire COC program. Not part of it, the entire. The funding cap, which is expected to be introduced through a notice of funding opportunity in the coming weeks, is considered the worst case scenario and will be devastating, the people said. Typically, any change like this would go through HUD's attorneys to ensure it complied with the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, which created the program. The law requires the COC program to work primarily at a local level to end homelessness and requires both renewable and non-renewable funding to provide a variety of housing resources, including permanent housing, primarily for families and those with disabilities. However, two of the HUD employees said they were forbidden from speaking with the agency's attorneys, and there is concern that the funding cap raises legal questions about its compliance with the law. He had no indication that there would be anything like this, and no indication that the program would be administered this irresponsibly. We just did not see this coming, one of the HUD employees said. Additionally, those administering the programs through local organizations have been left in the dark, as two HUD employees said they were not allowed to share any details about the expected policy change. A new criteria will also deduct points for projects if the organization applying for federal funding has previously used racial preferences or recognized transgender people. So now we're going into discrimination, racism. It's all basically the same thing. Oh my goodness. Now, I read somewhere else and saw somewhere else that they're going to turn. See, basically what's happening is by defunding this stuff, HUD can't talk about it. But according to other attorneys in different videos and stuff, that I've did a little bit of research before looking this up because I didn't even know what HUD was. And I looked it up and I came to this paper here. But basically, you're already illegal. You're a criminal. If you're poor. If you're homeless. And then they're talking about with the executive order to get them off the street, get them evaluated, put them in a facility, get them off the street, right? Well, this here contradicts it. After getting them off the street, helping people get a home, whether it be an apartment, whatever it is, now they're going to kick them out. They're going to kick them out now. So, which makes them homeless again. You can't trust the system. The government don't care. Society, the world, like I told you before, don't care. They pick and choose people. And they're going after anybody that tries to hide. Anybody who tries to say, I'm not going to follow along. So we're going to have to go back to whether you believe in God or not here. And whether you don't want to believe it, the proof is still in there saying that you won't be able to buy, sell, or trade without the mark. And they're coming out with the digital ID. There's already 21 plus states here in the United States that are already doing it. They have to upgrade the system, which takes place at the end of 2000. And guess it, 2026 is when that system needs to be updated so that they can continue the digital ID. Yeah, we just did that one ID, didn't we? They made everybody get it. They're tracking all of us. It's not just the basic stuff like, oh, your social security, your address. You know, if something happens in a medical situation or emergency situation, they can contact wherever you live and let them know what happened to you. But it's not about that basic stuff anymore. They literally want to know where every single person is. So when they establish this digital thing or mark of the beast type stuff, or the first half of the mark of the beast stuff, they want to know where you are. You can't run and hide. So as you try to hide, so like homelessness, here's something about the homeless that's so powerful. They're free from the society, the rules. They don't have to pay bills. They don't have to go to work. They can go wherever they want within reason. They can leave the country if they choose to. They can travel to the border and walk out. They don't want that. They don't want the homeless to have that power to walk away from a evil society. Remember back in the old days, before this country became a country? They were all immigrants, weren't they? They were escaping tyranny and all that stuff from, what was it, Britain? England? Remember? They got on the boats, they came over, found this place. But what did they do? Well, they killed most of the Indians off, didn't they? It wasn't the people in itself that did that. It was the evil entity behind. It wasn't the individual person. It was the group of people that got together and decided to wipe out all these people, or most of them, and take everything, all the resources. What do they do today, people? They go around the world, all these governments, and they're fighting over resources. Look at Ukraine. Ukraine is a center of attention because they got resources that they need to make the quantum chip, the artificial intelligence. Look around the country, everybody, in the United States here. What are they putting up everywhere? Data centers. And what's their excuse? We need that. I need that for our cell phone apps. Your cell phone don't need that stuff. A cell phone app is a program. It's just like if you downloaded a dictionary app. Guess what? All the names and definitions of the dictionary is already in the app. It's a program. It already has everything on it. So why do they need all these data centers? Well, I can tell you some of it. They say it's for artificial intelligence. They lie and say it's for your cell phone apps to improve everything. But it's basically a black ops site. All of them are black ops sites, and they're for AI or artificial intelligence. And it's probably something else that's in between those two that I said. Because what basically it means, it's evil. It's basically being set up to whatever this. Remember in the Bible it talks about this mannequin or this statue will come to life and they'll worship it. The whole world will worship this thing, and it's not even alive, but it comes to life. And that's over in Saudi Arabia, by the way, where this thing comes to life at. And according to what some of the documentaries talked about the Bible, how they deciphered it and explained it, it's worshiping stuff. They already have the altar there. And so they're going to use all these data centers to hook into this system. And this thing's supposed to come to life. Now, in other words, what did Trump do? He made a deal with Saudi Arabia, didn't he? And guess who has it? That site is located in Saudi Arabia, right on the coast by the Red Sea. Opposites. What is it? Opposites. my lips are dry. The opposite side of Egypt is where this location is. This mannequin's gonna come to life. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm just giving you an idea. Even if I'm off on it, I apologize. I'm doing my best here to kind of throw this knowledge out at you the best that I can. But anyway, it's all related. It's all related, people. It's all being set up for something awful. If your own country is turning on your own people, then it's not your country anymore, is it? It's somebody else's country. Because if your own people turn on you because you're poor, because you don't have a lot of things, you don't have what they have, then you don't belong there. That's what they're saying. You don't belong. You're an American, but you're illegal because we can't control you. Because this setup that's coming on right now it's control. Why do they fear the homeless? Because homeless are free. They don't have to obey the taxes, the houses. Like, for instance, if you live in a house, an apartment, you own a car, you're controlled already. They got you controlled because they know you want to keep that car. They know you want to keep that house. They want to keep you controlled. See, homelessness, being homeless, they have the power above everybody because homeless people are free. They're not part of the system. They're thrown aside because they can't afford to still be part of the system. So homeless people are now considered illegal. Their own people pass these laws to consider you illegal. Now, let's think about this. You got all the immigrants that want in this country, but yet they seal the borders so they can't come in anymore. And then they're fighting to get rid of the immigrants. Does that make sense? But yet, their own people, meaning all of us that are here in the United States, aren't considered anything if you're homeless. So the homeless, why are they scared of the homeless so much? Because the homeless are free. They can't control them. They can survive out on the street with practically nothing. They've already learned how to do it with occasional, soup kitchen, occasional help here and there. But they understand how to survive. If you're homeless, I guess you learn really quick or you die. Or maybe you hang out with another homeless person and they teach you the ropes. If you get a really nice one. Maybe that's what I'll have to do. Learn the basics. But once you do, it's going to be difficult. Even if you have health issues, because I have health issues. And you'll be able to do it. Once you do, you're a threat because you don't have to rely on society anymore. You don't have to rely on the government. You don't have to rely on all these evil entities that run everything in the background. So you're considered a threat. So they have to get rid of you. And now, I want to say real quick, there was another thing that it talked about. They said that they were going to do these encampments. Giant encampments. What they call something Arcatraz or some garbage like that. Let me look it up. Let's see if I can find it really quick here. Okay, I found this. Not the best, but it'll do. Here we go. This is Alcatraz and homeless assistance. Currently, the term Alcatraz is associated with the controversial construction of an immigration detention facility in Florida named Alligator Alcatraz. This facility has become a focal point of discussion about funding and services related to homelessness and immigrant detention. So basically, this is kind of like the beginning stage. So they're going to use this for an excuse. I mean, it even says it right there, services related to homelessness and immigrant detention. It's detention sites, encampments, and detention camps. Stuff they did in World War II. They put all the Jews in there. You're like a prisoner. All because you're homeless. This is what's going on, people. You need to see it for yourself. And I'm doing this content as long as I can to have everybody realize the truth here. I'm even learning from this stuff, looking this stuff up. This is not fake. This is not made up, people. They're going to take the homeless. That's you, me, everybody. Because if you're not rich, well, you're going to be homeless shortly. That's why they keep raising all the prices until you can't stand it. You can't until you break, until you lose your home. You lose everything. Now you're on the street. And a lot of people's never been homeless. Or what do? Like me, I sort of been homeless here and there, but I had help with my family. But now, never on my own homeless. Completely homeless with nothing. I'm about to find out that stuff quite quickly soon. But if you haven't been homeless, you're about to be. I just want you to know this. This is coming for all of us. If you're not rich, if you're not well off, you're going to be homeless. You're going to be in one of these Alcatrazes. They're going to change the name to something else. You're going to be in these encampments. That's what's happening right now. They're setting it up. Remember that system for your digital ID is going to be replaced, or the system that's in place now can't handle it, so they have to upgrade. So they're going to upgrade at sometime next year, which is only a few months away, to the very end of 2026. This system's coming out. It's going to be replaced. Remember when they put those card readers at the checkouts? How suddenly they just started popping up, and then everybody started getting debit cards and using their debit cards and stuff. And all of a sudden it was just like business as usual. Oh, it's just a normal thing. And nobody was the wiser to it. When you go into Walmart, you get those little scanners as you walk through. It's supposed to be for if you steal something, it's supposed to go off or whatever. But a lot of that specific thing wasn't just about for the alarm to go off. They were scanning you as well. So like X-ray machines. They were scanning you. Who knows? They might see us naked as we go through those things in the security room. What do we know? So there you go, people. And I'll scan this up here. You can read it. FEMA never helped anybody. It's like the UN or NATO or whatever. Expected to open with 500 to 1,000 beds. Impact on homeless assistance programs. This is the establishment of the Alcatraz facility correlates with a significant withholding of funds from essential programs designed to assist those experiencing homelessness. This includes emergency food and shelter programs, which has historically provided critical support, like food, rental assistance, and temporary housing. Right here, aspect. Alcatraz facility. Look to the right. Homeless assistance programs. So this is all connected to those encampments. Remember what we talked about? If you ever follow along with people that talk about the Bible, the end days, how they all had their own view of it, but what did it come back to? Encampments. What did it say in the Bible? That they would refuse, they would be killed and had their heads chopped off, stuff like that. Well, they're going to put them in these facilities, and you'll never see them again. So I want to say this. I hope you're hearing this. Never go into one of these places. You never come out. There's a chance you'll never come out of them. Please do not go in these encampments if it happens. Refuse. Fight. Even if they kill you, don't go in those things. You're not going to come out, people. And I'll scan through it and you can pause it. Then I'll end the video. Okay. Yeah. I can go on and on with this, couldn't I? But I'll just kind of scan it. You can pause it. This is awful, people. This is our government. This is those evil entities, or you could say cults, devil worshippers, whatever you want to believe. That's what they are. Evil. They're all evil. Yep. So that government shutdown is on purpose, people. It's on purpose. Remember when they shut down the world, most of it? Is that man-made virus which was done on purpose? They were doing things while everybody was locked in their little homes or rent places or wherever you were locked in. They were doing stuff. They were moving things, people. They were preparing for the next step. Now it's this. Your own people that are poor, that are just don't have a house because they can't afford it, are now considered illegals. Yep. There you go. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you heard this. I hope you watched it, at least the majority of it. And I hope you learned something. Thank you so much. You can leave down in the comments. Is it happening where you are? Give me your experience. Are you about to be homeless? What's your plan if you become homeless? Leave down in the comments. If you watch this, I could use your insight. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, this is Ronald the Peculiar Ones channel on YouTube. And if you go to a channel that's anybody who's under 1,000 subscribers, please subscribe to their channel to help them get to 1,000. Much appreciated, and they will appreciate it as well. I also show you where to get free PC games every week, as long as I can. As long as I can, people. Take care, and may God be with you in your times of need. Moving on to the next video.